Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Claiming Your Power Now in the Max Power Hour. I'm your host, Max Riggs. I'm an empowerment facilitator, and I'm here to... I've noticed some things that were really interesting about claiming our power and what keeps us small. It's been one of those really kind of interesting things, and ideally, we'd like to get to a space where even if things are not going so well, we're not feeling really strong and powerful, we still have access to that power. So, yeah. And so what I wanted to start with is there's basically three things that if we start looking at them, we can start making some big changes related to our power and what keeps us small and under the effects of other things. So the first one is to just acknowledge that you're amazing right now. So I know that sometimes that seems like it's a little bit of a stretch because we have all these things that are up in our lives. We have all these things that we're working toward fix. And let's see. So somebody has some... okay, I'm going to mute somebody there. Yeah. I muted somebody and somebody else is still ringing. Nope, it wasn't that. Okay, I'm just going to mute everybody. Yeah, okay. There we go. And looks like somebody's having a hard time getting on the call. So let me just do a quick check on that. Okay, so all right, so let's kind of start that over again. So there's basically three things that I've been playing with that can really start giving us access to our power now. And one is to acknowledge that you are actually amazing right here, right now. And I know it doesn't seem like that because it seems like we have all these problems, all these things that we need to work on, we need to clear. But what if, given everything that you've been through, all the challenges that you've had in your life, and actually all the challenges and forces that you don't even know about, it's actually really amazing the place that you are right now. And that's the thing that I've been playing with. Because it's one of those things as we often are thinking about how much better we could be, or our life will be happy when we have all these other things. And that kind of steps us back because it makes us look at we're not really powerful right now because we haven't already created those. But what if where you are in your life right now actually shows you how powerful you are? Okay, so everything that brings up and lets down, do we choose to destroy and then create all of that? Oh, yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, so one of the things I just like you to think about, if you're having a hard time seeing how you could be amazing right here, right now. And one of the things I like to say about that is what if you can be, what if you actually are amazing right here, right now, with no justifications, no explanations, and no excuses. And everything that brings up and lets down, do we choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes,
yes, I choose that. Oof, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Because how often do you say, oh yeah, I'm okay, but you know, I have this problem, or actually giving an excuse for actually something that you are or you don't have. And that's one of those ways where we don't think we're negating ourselves, but we actually are. So everywhere that you've been negating yourself, putting yourself down, that you didn't realize it, do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
yes, I choose that.
Whew, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. And Yeah, and so one of the things, like, when we start thinking about that, was like, how can we actually be amazing right here, right now? Is what if one of your friends or somebody you just met came up and told you their life story, and their life story is actually the same as yours? Would you kind of instantly know, oh my gosh, this person is actually really powerful because they're actually still on this planet? You know, and everything that brings up and lets down, do we choose to destroy and create it all? Ooh,
Yes, I
wow,
choose that.
vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa. Yeah, and there's a lot of sadness on that, because if we can really acknowledge that how hard our lives actually have been, sometimes that's actually really sad. I a lot of times think that my life hasn't been that hard. And then I look at all the struggles I've gone through and all the challenges I've had, mentally and physically, mainly mentally, and being aware of all the energies that are around us and all the pain and suffering in the world. So the part that I look at that is just how hard it is for us to be in this world. And so everywhere you haven't actually acknowledged yourself for how hard your life actually has been. Whoa. Ooh. Do you choose to just acknowledge that? Ooh, and anything preventing you from acknowledging how hard your life actually has been? Ooh, whoa. Whew. Do you choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whew. Yeah, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release. Whew. Wow. Yeah, and so that's one of the things is, like, when we kind of get the magnitude of how hard our lives have been, it's actually really amazing that we're as far along as we are. And I know it doesn't feel like that because we want to be so much further on along the path. And we are so powerful that we know we can be further along the path. So everywhere you've been negating your power, putting yourself down for not being further along the path, do you choose to destroy and then create and release and let all that go?
Yes, I choose that.
Oh, thank you. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Oh, and all the sadness that you've been holding back, you've been suppressing because it's just too much. And if you felt like you even released some of that sadness, all the sadness would come up. Oh, do you choose just to just release that sadness? Release that sadness. Release that sadness. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, wow. So thank you. Thank you. Dissipate and release, discharge, discharge, and flush. Whew. Yeah, and that's one of the other things about, being a really kind and caring person in this world is just being in the world and being exposed to all these things is really difficult for us. And the part is like, what if you also can acknowledge yourself for still being this kind, caring, giving person, given all the things that have been going on in your life and your world? Whew. Yeah. Because it's one of those things is being kind and caring is a capacity we have. And because it's just like such a part of us, so innate, it doesn't seem like it's a choice for us to be kind, but it really is. And a lot of people that aren't kind and caring in the world, they actually don't have the abilities that we have. They don't have those abilities to be kind. So everywhere you've been, oh, that's another one. Okay, yeah. So one of the other parts about this is if we have a power, a strength, a capacity, a superpower, and we deny that, then we get stuck in this place of we ask for more power, and then we tell ourselves we don't want more power. We ask for more power, we tell ourselves don't want to have more power. So everywhere you took your superpower of kindness and caring and decided, judged, concluded, and computed it was a limitation, do you choose to destroy and then create and release all that go?
Yes, I choose that.
Thank you. Oh, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, vaporize, vaporize.
Max,
Yes,
can I ask a question or
please.
do a share?
Uh-huh.
I find what trips me up is that the comparison stuff and making people more potent, more powerful,
Hmm.
uh, more knowledgeable, more expressive. It's that constant comparison that gets in my space,
Okay.
disempowers me.
Yeah. So
It's
one of
like,
the
yeah,
Yeah, so one of the other things that we often do is we compare somebody else's greatest strength to one of our weaknesses. And how are we ever going to match up if we're comparing somebody else's greatest strengths to one of our weaknesses? We're not. And so that's one of those other things is like when we see somebody else that's one of those ones too, is we see somebody else that seems to have even more problems than we've had, and they seem to overcome it. Or it's something similar like that they seem to like have this capacity that we don't have. So everywhere you've been comparing one of your weaknesses, that's not really what
limitations.
yeah, so everywhere you've been comparing one of your weaknesses or limitations to somebody else's greatest strength, or maybe that's it. So everywhere you're not comparing your greatest strength to somebody else's greatest strength. Whoa. Woo! Did you choose to destroy and integrate all that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Oh, yeah. And so that's one of the other parts about that, because like how much do people whoops how yeah, so like if you're comparing your one of your strengths to somebody else's strengths, that seems like a little bit more of a fair comparison. Yeah. And so is there a little bit, can you tell me a little bit more about, is there another place that you're making yourself less than somebody else, or like a specific example?
Um, specific. It
Yeah.
happens across the board. I just see,
Okay.
like, I see people able to articulate, like I'm watching you,
Uh-huh.
and the dialogue just flows.
Hmm.
And for me, it's like I can do one-off sentence, but to carry the further dialogue, I see everybody is better than me, and
Ooh,
the
ow.
words,
Ooh,
yeah,
okay. So can you say that everybody is better than me 3 times?
everybody's better than me, everybody's better than me,
Ooh.
everybody's better than me.
Oh, so all the Shikyu implants and explants behind that, the Wernicke commands and booby traps, do you
Yep,
choose to destroy and create all that? Yeah. Ooh,
yes, I
vaporize,
choose to
liquefy,
clear that.
vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa. Whew. Dissipate and release. Yeah, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release. Ooh, wowza. Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing that, because how much do we all do stuff like that? And I think one of the things is like to look at the next time that you are doing that is to see if you're actually comparing one of the things that isn't as strong about you to somebody else's super strength. And what if you can find your own super capacities and your own super strength?
Hmm.
And everything that brought up and let down, do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Woo, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, and everywhere, oh, and that's another one of these big things, is so everywhere your capacities, everywhere you have amazing capacities, but they don't look like everybody else's capacities. And you've been diminishing those capacities. Do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Now rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and then create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whew. Yeah, and so one of the things also around this is it's kind of one of the kind of lies of this world is that
Yes.
you are the only one that has this issue.
Yes.
So, whew, yeah, and that's not just this one that you're talking about now, Colleen.
Yeah.
It's like everything. It's like I'm
Yeah.
the only one who's like insecure around a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I am the only one that has this disease that limits me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that doesn't fit in this world.
It's all the
Whoa.
lies, disinformation, and
Yeah, and
fabricated.
manipulation around that.
Yeah,
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 let's choose to destroy and then create all that.
yeah.
Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Wow. Yeah, and so one of the ways to really limit a powerful being is to have themselves compare
Yeah.
parts of them that aren't the strongest to other beings' strongest things.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things is if, like thinking about like a famous actor, if, you're looking at them and going, oh, I have like no skills and capacities with acting because I'm not anywhere like that. It can make you feel really small. It can make your being feel really small. But if you actually compared one of your greatest strengths to a great actor's weaknesses, yours would be the same thing. It'd be like super high above them. Yeah. And so everywhere that everywhere that's built into this world, this reality, our minds, that we have to compare ourselves and we have to find ourselves below than other people, do we choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Yeah. And, right. And so, yeah, back to that kind of same thing is, so where is everywhere that you actually are amazing and you've been denying that you are amazing? Whoa, that's huge. Whoa. Okay, so everybody that's on the call and everyone that's listening to the replay, do you choose to destroy and then create, release and let go everywhere you've been denying the parts of you that are amazing?
Yes, I choose that.
Vaporize, liquefy, rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and then create. Vaporize, liquefy, liquefy. Whoa. Wow. And everywhere you couldn't possibly be amazing because you have all these messed up parts of you. Wow. Whoa. Do you choose to destroy and then create and release and I'll let that go?
Yeah, sure do.
Oh, yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh. Wowza. Yeah. And so everywhere you couldn't possibly be amazing until all parts and pieces, all aspects of you are amazing. Do you choose to destroy and then create and release and let all that go?
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa. Yeah. Because, think about like all the people that we do think are amazing. And do we ever find out like bad things about them? That do they ever have like problems that there'd be no way that you would have that problem? Oh, somebody is having kids yelling in the background. Oh, let's mute that. Okay. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. And so how many people that we think are amazing? Let's just tap into some amazing people. And how many of them have issues that you would not have in a million years? Woo. Yeah. And everything that brought up and let down, do you choose to destroy and then create and release and let all that go?
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh. Yeah. And so, right. Oh, okay. And so let's just tap into the energy of what other beings or other people know to be your amazing capacities. And all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Do we choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Okay. Yeah, and so did anyone not get that they have some amazing capacities? Cool. Yeah, and it's one of those things about how if we're trying to make ourselves these complete, perfect beings, that every little thing is correct, how long is it going to take us to become these amazing, to really step into our power, to really have the amazingness that we be? Whew, quite a while. So everything that brought up and let down, do we choose to destroy and integrate all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo! Yeah, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release. Whew. Yeah. So let's see if that's right. So yeah, there's this little exercise that I kind of wanted to do about showing you a little bit about how amazing we actually be. And so what if you actually are right now, with no explanations, no justifications, no excuses, are an amazing being with full power? Yeah, and everywhere that you don't believe that, you choose to destroy and upgrade all that.
Yes,
Oh, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah. And so what actually, no matter who you are, I see you as an amazing, powerful being with just stuff going on right now. So I actually see you as, I'm going to use an analogy of that you are a high performance sports car. You have great cornering. You can think things quickly. You can navigate difficult situations. You have a high-powered engine. You can go really fast. You can take corners fast. So that's how I see you. Yeah, I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but that's exactly how I see you. And the thing is like you're this kind, caring being, and you're a little kid, and you see your mom having a lot of struggle, and you're going, I don't want my mom to suffer that much. So you go, oh, I'm going to take a weight off of her. So you grab a bunch of her energetic baggage and you throw it in your car. And then your dad comes home and he's like all upset and he's having this bad day. And this happens even if your parents weren't kind or they were abusive, you still are this amazing, loving being that took on things for them because you didn't want to see your parents suffer. Whew. Yeah, release and let that go. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. So your dad came home and he had a rough day or a rough life, and you grabbed a bunch of his stuff. You didn't have room in your car anymore, so you put a trailer on it. You put that stuff in. And then there was a friend that was having a really tough time, and you took a bunch of stuff from them and you put that in there. You had to put another trailer on the back. And then you're going around in your life and you have a relationship, and the relationship really hurts you. It ends terribly. And you like, I don't want to feel that ever again. So you start putting some armor on your sports car so that you don't get hurt, and then you go to college, and then you have another experience, and, you got kicked out of your apartment and you got a bad grade, and you put more armor on so you don't feel that anymore. And then you get out of college, and then you have another experience with a relationship, and it really hurts. So you decided that, no, I don't want to even get that close to people. So you put the snowplow on the front of your car. And then another thing came along. So you piled more and more armor and more things. And so now you're still this amazing, powerful sports car, but you're just carrying tons of weight. You can't turn as fast because it's like all heavy. You still have this super powerful engine that you can do anything, but it's just doing way more than it was designed to do. So just what's easy and what's fun is, what if, like, that last little trailer that you have on your car, you just pull that little pin and let that part go. Yeah, because we're in a space right now that it's a space that promotes change, that promotes growth, and it nurtures change. It makes it easy for us to change. Yeah, and so if that second trailer is easy to pull that little pin and let it go, let's just do that. Yeah. And then that snowplow, are there some parts of it that were extensions that can just easily, just turn a couple bolts and pop off? Yeah, let's just do that. Let's turn a couple of those bolts. Whew, just let that drop off. Let that drop off. And some of that armor that you put up, you put it up at the end when you were really upset. Then can you just let some of that armor that's just about ready to fall off anyway, just undo a couple of those bolts and just let that fall off? Yeah, and any of the extra baggage or any of those other things that are there that you can just release because you've been waiting for a time to release them, and now you can. Do you choose just to go ahead and just release that because that's what we're doing in this little space? And anything preventing you from releasing everything that would be easy to release right now, do you choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Whew, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And anything that you locked in place because you never wanted to feel that again, you now choose to rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and then create, make null and void, all of that. Oh, yes. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, dissipate and release, 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 dissipate and release. Whoa. Whoa. And all the drugs, alcohol, chemicals, medicines, toxins, dissipate and release, discharge, discharge, discharge. And then let's just drain everything out. I envision picking up two big drain plugs and just letting all that stuff just drain out. Ooh. Ooh. And all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Do we choose to destroy and then create all that? Ooh. I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh.
Max, before you leave the car thing, hi, this is Diana. How are you?
I'm doing good, yay!
Oh, this car thing, you're talking my language, because that's what I do, is deal with totaled cars every day.
Okay.
How about everywhere, if someone inspected us, we would be totaled? Because we're economically unfeasible to repair.
Oh, okay. All right. I thank you for bringing that up, but I'd like to flip that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So everywhere you decided, judged, concluded, and computed that you are this amazing sports car, but you're all beat up, you're damaged.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unrepaired prior damage.
Yeah, okay. Unrepaired, prior damage, repaired incorrectly.
Yes.
All those places that you've decided, judged, concluded, and computed that you're broken, that your car is broken, do you choose to now let all that go?
Yes, I choose
Rescind,
that.
revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and then create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, so thank you so much for saying that, Deanna, because I was chatting with somebody else and they were talking about how they don't, it's like, Max, you're not, you're telling people you're going to remove things from them, you're going to fix them. It's just like, okay, but wait, what is it? And the thing is no matter what's happened to you, you're not a broken car. You're not a broken being. You have these weights that are on you, and we just move those. We remove those. Because that's the other part, is like, you are this amazing being. And I always see that. I don't see that you're broken. It's just like, oh, there's this part that, yeah, we need to pull that off, or that part.
Can we bring in the team? Can we come in now that you've cleared out all these broken parts? Okay. Can we bring in the team that does the detailing and takes us back up to dealer condition and gives us
cool.
Upgrade?
All right.
Upgrade?
Sure. Yeah. So all the parts, pieces of you that you've noticed that aren't as shiny, they aren't as smooth as you would like, do you choose to destroy and uncreate and release and let go anything that's keeping those unshiny and in disrepair?
Yes, I choose that.
Woo, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And let's just call in some energy from the universe. So what energy, space, and consciousness can we in our bodies be to fully repair, to fully shine, to fully detail all the parts and pieces of us that don't feel shiny and new? And just receive. And we're just asking this energy to come from the universe. And because we ask for it to, it does. And I put my hand on my heart and sometimes on my belly and just say, receive. So just say to yourself, receive, receive, receive. And all we're doing is just receiving an energy. So if you notice anything, you're doing it right. And if you don't notice anything, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Anything in the way of you noticing something. And like I said, we're just noticing something. So receive, receive, Receive. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Whew. So all the parts and pieces of you you've decided are broken, that are actually not broken, but you've been trying to fix them, but because they're already fixed, you can't fix them. And everything that brings up and lets down, do you choose to destroy and uncreate all that? Woo, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa, cool. Yeah, and so that's one of the things too that makes us seem like we're not powerful, is because if we're trying to fix something that's already been fixed, we can't fix it because it's already there. But how powerless do you feel if you're trying to do something and you can't do it? Whew. So all the things that you've actually already done, already accomplished, that you decided you didn't accomplish, so you're still trying to accomplish them. Do you choose to destroy and then create, release and let go? Anything that prevents you from acknowledging that you've already accomplished that.
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh, wow. Cool. So anything else coming up around cars and analogies of what we can change?
I have one more thing, Max.
Okay, cool.
Most of the people I talk to, they don't own their car outright. They have a lien holder. And a lot of them are over-financed and they don't have gap insurance.
Okay.
They're upside down. Do you get the energy of that?
Oh, I totally do. Thank you.
I don't own my car.
Yeah. So everywhere you don't fully own your car, you don't fully own your body. That there are other beings, entities, creatures, demons, gods that own part of your body. So you don't have access to it. Ooh, wowza. Woo. Do you choose to banish and vanquish, release and let all those guys go?
Yes, I choose that.
Oh, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. Whew.
So Max,
Uh-huh.
where are all those parts of us that we think is broken or not working being taken over by other energies?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more advanced for this particular call, but everything that we can just change. No, it was fine. But everything we can just change. Let's just, if you're all willing to do that, we can just go ahead and change that.
Cool.
There we go. Thank you. Ooh. Ooh, rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah. And everything that's actually been looking for a reason to leave, that hasn't left yet, that would like to leave, do we choose just to let all that, give them a reason and just send them on their way?
Yeah.
Yeah, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Because that's one of these other things I've been playing with is, what if by just acknowledging something and just asking for something without doing a full clearing, we can actually change a whole bunch of shit. Whew. So everything you decided, judged, concluded, and computed that you had to have the perfect clearing, you had to be in someone's presence. Whoa, someone's presence, cool. Woo, woo. Do you choose just to release and let go all those things that you thought you had to have a special thing or a special person to do that you actually can just release because we're in this space together?
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, release, discharge, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. Ooh. Whew. Cool. Woo. And what is everything else that we can change, that you'd like to change, that would be a contribution to you to change, that we can change because we're here together and in this space with all these people, we can change it. So everything all that is, do we choose to just destroy and create and release and let all that go? Yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Oof. Yeah, and that actually brings up a good question, because that was like my second point. So my first point of this whole thing is like, what if you already really are amazing? Oh, let's finish that one up. Yeah. So everywhere you weren't fully able to acknowledge all the amazingness you be when we first started this, you choose to destroy and create and release and let go anything else that's preventing you from acknowledging the amazingness that you be.
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And do you now choose to receive the amazingness that you actually be?
Yes.
Ooh, I choose that. And receive. 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 Ooh, wowza. Ooh, and just let all that energy just go wherever it wants to go. And if you notice anything, you're doing it right. And if you don't notice anything, you're actually doing it right. So that's one of the things too, is that we've been actually denying a lot of our awareness all of our lives. And there's really good reasons for that. You know, when you're a little kid and you're surrounded by these crazy ass energies, it's really uncomfortable. You know, when you know things about your friends that you shouldn't know, you know, you don't want to know that stuff. And we say stuff like that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that. And then we block off our awareness of those energies. We still kind of perceive them a little bit, but we block off their awareness. And since we've been doing that for so long, that sometimes it's hard for us to fully feel energies when they come in or change. And so if you're in a place like that, what I'll just say is just acknowledge just notice what you notice and acknowledge that you're noticing that. And then the more you acknowledge that, the more you perceive, and then the barriers go down to perceiving. Yeah. And so one of the things that I kind of differ from some of the other facilitators is I don't see anything that you've ever done or did as wrong or disempowering you. The thing is like, if we look at what happened or whatever, often it's something that seems like it's terrible. If you look at the step right before you made that decision, you can actually see where your power is. And sometimes even those crazy ass decisions show us our power. So all the places that you denied your power because it didn't seem like you got what you wanted, do you choose to destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Woo, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Woo. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Uh-huh. Right. And so the part that I was going to say about that is, what if you would allow yourself to see the power that you truly be? And anything preventing that, do you choose to destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Oh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Woo.
But no one else will see it, right?
Well, that's another part too, is like when we start seeing about how weird we are, how we don't really fit in the world, we don't want other people to see that, because, you know, for most of human history, if you were really different from other people, you know, you were excluded from the tribe, you weren't helped, you know, yeah, and you'd be out there dying. So that's part of it. But the other part is, you know, if we were in smaller tribes, we would be the medicine women, the medicine men. We were the people who would be honored for the things that we can do, the capacities we have. But in the modern society, where science doesn't yet have the tools to measure our capacity or to validate the things that we've actually done, we don't really fit in. And society doesn't really quite know where to place us. So anything preventing us from projecting, not being, but projecting and energies that get along with other people so that people don't necessarily see us as too weird, do we choose to destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes, I choose.
Woo, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, and that brings up another point is, so where is everywhere that instead of pretending to be small and weak so you could fit into society or a relationship or something like that, you actually made yourself small and weak? Woo! So everything that brought up and let down, do you choose to destroy and then create it all?
Yeah, I choose
Yeah, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And it's one of those things is because we're these amazing, honest people, we think it's kind of misleading to pretend we're small and meek and not be small and meek. And so I look at that as like, well, that's a pretty good capacity. We don't want to lie. But does that really work for us or work for the people? So one of the things that I like to say is like, is you can pretend to be something without actually being it. So my example is a high-powered CEO, well, woman CEO of a company. She wants to really see like how her customers treat her employees and kind of how how the lower level employees treat the employees. So one day she dresses up as the receptionist or another person that doesn't necessarily have much power in the organization. And when she's playing the part, does she think that she's weak and powerless? No.
No.
Yeah, she's just pretending to not have power, but she has all the power. And so what if you could do that? You could pretend to be the meek person in the relationship, but you actually know that you're the full powerful one. So everything that brings up and lets down, do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh, yeah. And that's one of the things I've chatted with some of my clients about, is they've been afraid to fully step into their power because one of the things they've decided is because their relationship is based on them being powerless, that they'd have to leave their husband. And the part that I play with is, what if you could be this super powerful person and just pretend that you're meek in that? So everything that brings up and lets down, do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes.
Woo! Yeah, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And there was a no in there too, because that's kind of a weird situation to play with. And the idea is not to stay in a relationship that's disempowering to you, but if everything else is working and you're just pretending around the parts that don't work, you can still be a powerful person and be a powerful being. Ooh, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And of course, you could also choose to leave the relationship. But the point I was really trying to make is you as a powerful being have the choice to do anything. You can choose to leave a relationship or stay in the relationship. So that's one of the other things that comes up is, so what is everything that you've decided you would have to be or do if you were fully powerful that you don't actually have to be or do if you were fully powerful? Whoa. Yeah. And everything that is, do you choose to destroy and then create all that? Yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And so that's the part that I was really trying to say is if you've decided that you're not going to do something, but that's something, but you've also decided if you were fully powerful, you would have to do that something. That keeps you locked down, keeps you prevented from stepping into your power. And I suppose like when we're talking about that, that's probably a nice time to mention that morning power process that I sent out. And it's one of those ones that we often don't think about. Like once we were talking about like how we think we're the only one that has an issue. And that came about from Jaden Fox talking about how basically when you're an energetic being, you wake up in the morning, you've been kind of messed with by things during the night or things affected you. And when I first heard that, it was just like, oh, I thought I was the only one that woke up in the space of not feeling powerful and ready to take on the world. And the part that Jaden had brought up was that a lot of us, or maybe all of us, feel that way. And if we get into a process of like using what I send out, the morning power process every day, that gets us to a place where we can start a day from a powerful place. And the other thing is if we have that set into a schedule where we're always doing it, that day that we wake up that we're feeling super small, super pathetic, we can run that process and it starts getting us out of that. As opposed to if you woke up and you're pathetic and you don't have a schedule like that, it might take you hours before you could even get to a place that you could clear stuff. So everything that brought up and let down, do you choose to destroy and release and let all that go?
Yes, I choose
Yes,
that.
I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Okay. And so the second thing, let me take a drink, that I really wanted to let people know about was that you can't change anybody else. You can't change what somebody else thinks. Because I think we probably all tried that. You know, there was that relationship we had that we wanted our partner to stop smoking cigarettes, you know, or stop drinking, you know, and did that work? You know, no. I mean, it might have worked if they really were wanting to do that, and then we just give them a nudge. But usually we can't change. Well, actually, you can't change anything that's not yours. You know, and that's one of the things we talk about in this work is, you know, if you have an upset with somebody, you can't change them. You can only change yourself. And this is the kind of part where, what if the things that aren't changing in your life, the things that you think that you should be able to change, and made yourself powerless because, or decided that you didn't have much power because you couldn't change them, actually most of them aren't yours. So one of the things that's kind of interesting is we've played with like emotions and, you know, asking who does this belong to, because we're these energetic beings, and because we're energetic and psychic, we pick up other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And because they seem just like ours, we often don't know, you know, just from looking at it, if this is our emotion or someone else's emotion. And that happens for almost all the things we're trying to change about ourselves too. So if you're trying to change something about how you feel wrong about yourself, that you're a bad boy, a bad girl, how much of that do you actually have access to? Ooh, yeah. And how much of that is actually yours? Is it over 75% yours or under 25% yours? Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's one of those ones. It's like, so what if instead of making yourself wrong for not being able to change something that you kind of know you should be able to change, you look at that and go, oh, so what about this block isn't mine? And so how I've been playing with it is I was basically seeing that if there's something I can't change, it's like, it's this big, but the part I own is just this little bit. And the thing is, it's like, I can change only this little bit. This other part, you can't change. And then you might go, oh gosh, well, what do I do now? Well, we can't change it, but we can remove it. Yeah. Woo. So everything that you've been trying to change that actually isn't yours, that would be a contribution just to remove, do you choose just to remove it now because we can?
Yes, I choose that.
Yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, destroying the great. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. And so just let all that information flow in. And then that's one of the things about energies is sometimes we receive information, but we don't really know what it is. And I used to make myself wrong for that, because I'd ask the universe for some information or something, and I wouldn't get words. And my friend next to me would go, oh, I got these words. I got these downloads from these energies, and this is what they told me. And I'd be like, oh, I didn't get that. But the part that I got now is that when we receive any information or any energies, that's the information that we needed to start changing things. So the part that I was getting is, after I kind of mentioned that, is like, you know, what is, you know, of the big problem you're trying to change, how much is yours and what part's not yours, that actually started to unlock things. And so all of us on the call were getting some information of some things that we haven't been able to change that we now can change, or we can start changing. So what if the next time that you're trying to change something and it doesn't change, you don't go, I'm not powerful enough, I'm weak, I'm small. You go, oh, I wonder what parts of this I have access to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or how much of this is something that someone or something else. And if it's someone or something else, you can just destroy and then create, release, and let all that go. And it's one of those things is, I often think that like we have bits, you know, in everything that we're doing, we have a part of it that's ours. You know, we're emotional beings, you know, so we have all these energies. But when we're playing in this thing is like let's say you're having an emotional upset and it's this big. Yeah, it's your emotional upset. But if 90%, or we're doing 90, if 90% of that is something else's, that's a hell of a lot of stuff for you to be processing right now. You're processing other people's emotions. So just kick all that stuff out. And then there's this chunk left. And even that might be pretty big. But we can just play with that, or that's something that we can deal with. That's something we actually can change. And that's when you can use your clearing statements and ask questions and that sort of stuff. So everywhere that actually unlocks some things that you now can just change, do you choose to go ahead and just change all those now because we can?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, and do people have questions about that part? I kind of went over that one kind of quick. Or did it kind of make sense?
Is there any drugs?
Okay, so all the drugs, alcohol, chemicals, medicines, toxins, manipulated energies, dissipate and release, 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 discharge, 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 and flush. And all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Whoa. There you go. Do we choose to destroy and create all that?
Yep.
Yeah. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. And that's one of the other things that you can also play with is you start to get tired around stuff, or when you actually don't receive energy, run that all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Because that's something I do. You know, when I'm working with a client and I ask them a question and there's no energy to it, but there should be a big energy to it, I'll clear those. And then it's like when I clear that, then I can start feeling more energy. Yeah, so that's the other one. So yeah, everywhere that you've decided that you don't feel energy, that it's actually you're being manipulated, or there's manipulation up that prevents you from perceiving energy. Woo, do you choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Ooh, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And that's one of the other things that is kind of interesting, is that when we really start to step into our power, the energies of stasis, or the energies that want us to stay in the same place, can get turned up. So have you guys noticed that? Like you step into a big set of power and then something terrible happens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I mean, it doesn't always happen. So if it doesn't happen to you,
Not
don't
always.
go looking for it. But it's one of those things. It's like, what if when you start stepping into your power, there are some things that get activated. There are some things that potentially are negative. I don't really want to like the word, but are resisting that. And if you look at that, then sometimes that can help us when we're like, you know, why aren't we stepping into our power? We have these things that, because we did start stepping into our power and then something happened, you know, and because we're sensitive, energetic beings, some of the things aren't really that big, but they affect us a lot. So everything that and let down, do you choose to destroy and create all that? Yeah.
Choose that.
Vaporize, liquefy.
Max,
Who's that?
I'm sorry. I have a question. This is Beth. And I'm thinking this fits in possibly with what you're talking about.
Okay.
But when something like that happens, you know, your life's going along and, you know, somebody, you know, hits your car and you're injured or whatever. Then it kind of puts, when someone asks you how you're doing and you actually do have some things, yeah, I find myself, you know, torn between, should I say, oh, everything's fine, or you know, that kind of happens, or telling them the truth of, okay, yes, that happened, and now, you know, I have injury, and then you start to describe what's going on with you. It kind of, you know, makes me feel like, because I hear the words coming out, because I don't know what else to say, but to tell them what's going on. And in a way, it's kind of a double whammy. Yes, you're answering their question, but two, you're hearing these kind of negative things coming out. Oh yeah, well now my back hurts. Well now, I can't do this and that because,
Right.
the injury and I'm on. So pretty soon you're in some level, I'm not feeling like it's bringing me down, but on another level, I'm going, well, listen to these words I'm saying. How's it all affecting me? And so I thought I'd get your because I'm going through something like that right now. I thought, and it popped into my head. I thought, well, if it's popping into my head, then it's probably something I should have.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, because it's one of those ones where we don't want to deny what's happening. So that's one of the things about I really like about this particular work is that you can say what's up. You can say what's going on. And if you do notice anything that is really negative, you can write afterwards, destroy and uncreate all of that. Destroy and uncreate, release and let all that go. And then the other part, there's like kind of two parts to that. So one is when someone's asking you how you're doing, is to energetically tap in to, do they really want to know how you're doing? They're just being polite or something else. So it's one of those ones, so it's not like, oh, you never tell anybody how you're doing, or you always tell people how you're doing. You look at that, look at the energies and see what, if these people really know, and then, or they really want to know that. And we just tap in just energetically. You can just energetically ask. So just in your head, go, oh, is this a contribution? Either does this person want to really know how I feel? Another one could be, is this a contribution to tell the person about what's going on for me? And then if you get like a strong yes or no, or an expansive energy or a contractive energy, then you can know, like, expansion energy would be that it would be helpful or it'd be a contribution to say this. A contraction or a heavy energy, if you thought about saying that, that's a negative or not contribution to say. And once again, it's not to make yourself wrong for doing one or the other. It's just to look at that and notice it. And then the other one is to ask is, do these words or does this story empower me or disempower me? And that's the one to look at. So if you have like your knees preventing you from doing something, it doesn't sound like it could ever be an empowering story, but what if it was? What if it was, somebody says like, how you doing? Oh, my knee really hurts. So I've been doing physical therapy to make it better. Okay. That's not, that takes like kind of a disempowering story to a more empowering one. So that's kind of the thing just to play with that. And the thing is like words are really powerful. So I have a video on YouTube about the power of words. And it's the thing is like words we use so often that we don't even really think about what we're saying. If you talk to somebody who isn't on the consciousness path, they just like spew words out, just like they doesn't even care what they're saying. And I look at it as words are magic spells that create our world and our reality. And if you're using a lot of disempowering words, you're going to kind of create a disempowered reality. And if you use more empowering words, that starts to get you a little closer to your true power and who you truly be. So yeah, thanks a lot for that question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions that are coming up for people? Cool. All right. So let's see. So I wanted to do three. So we're probably going to go a little bit over. So we talked about. So the first point was to acknowledge the amazingness that you already be, and that's one that's going to go really far, because it's the same thing as if something doesn't work and you don't instantly go to you're wrong, I'm small, I'm weak. You can stay more in that powerful place and ask the powerful questions to make yourself even more powerful. So if something's not changing, you don't instantly go, oh, I'm not good enough. It's like, oh, what if you are good enough to do anything, to change anything? So, yeah, and from that space, if something didn't change, what would you do? Would you assume that you couldn't do it? Or would you assume that you could do it and you just haven't found out quite the right way to change it yet? Yeah. So anything preventing you from, if you can't change anything, asking questions, what would I need to do to change this? Or what questions can I ask to start changing this? Or what do I need to dismantle before I can start changing this? And that's coming from a really powerful place, because it's the same thing is none of you on this call can, it's like any of you on this call can do anything, can change anything. Any of the things that you're trying to change, you can change. And then somebody says is like, but what if I'm wrong for not being able to find it despite asking those questions? Okay, and I'm going to say that you're never wrong. And what if you just haven't asked, and the other part is like, what if we take the significance off of changing it right here, right now? There are things I haven't been able to change in my life. Do I think I should be able to change them? Fuck yeah. Do I think like maybe if I had a little bit more skill, I could do that now? Yeah. And at the same time, I know that anything that I have is changeable. So if I don't quite ask the right question or I can't change it now, it's like, okay, well, what questions do I have to ask to change this? And I'm not attached to it having to change right here, right now. Sometimes we can make a demand to have something change right here, right now, and it works. But often how people use a demand, there's a judgment attached to it. Like, I demand this, and if it doesn't happen, I'm pissed. Or I demand this because it's so significant, I have to have it now. So that's the place to play in, is what if it's one of those things too? It's like play. Have you probably like seen like a little kid sometimes, they're trying to, put a square peg in a round hole. They keep trying it different ways. They'll move it around. They'll do all these sorts of things. And what if you can have play with all the things? Yeah. Ooh, okay, there we go. So all the things that are so significant in your life that there's no way you could have fun playing, dismantling them. Do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah.
Wow, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah. And so that's the thing, is it's like, and what if you didn't make yourself wrong for being wrong? That's the other one. Is like when you can get to a place where you don't make yourself wrong for doing something wrong or thinking something wrong. You just notice it. So yeah. Woo. So everything that brought up and let down, do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Yeah. Right. And so that's one of the things that I try to do. I try to play with. If there's something that doesn't change, it's like, okay, ask a different question. Okay. Oh, it still didn't change. Ask a different question. Woo. Yeah. Okay. So the first part was, what if you're amazing just as you are? And then the second one was, you can't change anything that's not yours. So if things aren't changing in your life, one of the first things I would do is to ask, how much of this is mine and how much is something else? And then destroy and create the something else. And then what you're left with is your part that you actually can change. And some of these ones, they might take a while. They might take that, you took a big chunk out, but there's still more and you don't quite have this to do. Okay, so there's some of these as a question about that. So the thing is you can't change somebody else, but if you have somebody else's thought in your head, you can remove it. And that's what I think a lot of the things are that we haven't been able to change, is there's a big chunk of that's somebody else's. And no, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like if you're thinking that you're a bad little boy, a bad little girl, and the big chunk of that was your mom's, she might still think that you're a bad little boy because of something you did, years ago. But that part of that's holding you down, locking you down in wrongness, you can remove that from your world. You can remove that from your space. And it's okay if your mom still thinks that stuff. It's basically, we're clearing stuff out for you. And if somebody else thinks a bad thing about you, well, they're gonna do that. That's okay. But you don't have to buy that as real and true. So that's what I'm just saying about that. So everything that you've been trying to change that you can't change because something else has a part of it, Do you choose to destroy and then create, release, and let go everywhere you made yourself wrong for not being able to change it?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Release, 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 release. Woo. Woo. Whew. And all the unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, active manipulation, and all other manipulation around this, do we choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes.
Woo. Yes, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa. And all the drugs, alcohol, chemicals, medicines, manipulated energies, toxins, dissipate and release, discharge, 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 and flush. Woo. Yeah. And then the other part, the third part, we'll see how long we can spend on this one. This is the one where I ask a question that changed a huge chunk for me. And what are all the places that you've made yourself wrong, decided, judged, concluded, and computed that you had this limitation that you couldn't change, that was actually, it was a symptom of you being messed with energetically? So all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yes, I choose that.
Ugh, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. So everywhere you've been making yourself wrong for a limitation in you that was actually a symptom of you being energetically messed with. There we go. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Do you choose to destroy and create, release, and let all that go?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, I'm not sure if all of you guys noticed that. When I first asked that question, there wasn't much of an energetic read I was getting. So I removed all that manipulation, energy fog, or things that were preventing us from seeing that. And then I got a larger read. Woo. Okay, cool. Yeah, so everything you've been making yourself wrong for, that was actually a symptom of you being energetically messed with. Do you choose to destroy and then create and let it go everywhere you've been making yourself wrong for that? Ooh, Elsa. I choose that. Rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and then create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, and I think some of you are probably asking is like, so what does that mean? What are the things you're making yourself wrong for? Well, actually what happened for me is I had no motivation for 2 weeks. I wasn't able to do anything. I spent most of the time on the couch watching TV. And one day I walked up, I was really down on myself because I had all this stuff to do. I had this class to create with my website, all these things. I wasn't getting anything done. I started walking into the kitchen and I go, is this a symptom? Is this lack of motivation a symptom of me being energetically attacked? Woo. Yeah. And I got this strong read on that. And I was just like, oh, yeah. So everywhere that you've decided your lack of motivation, your lack of being able to do things was you, when it was actually a symptom of you being energetically attacked. Whoa. Ooh, 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 wowza. Ooh, do you choose to destroy and then create, release, and let that go everywhere that you've been making yourself wrong for that? Ooh.
Yeah.
Rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and then create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh. Wow. And all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Do you choose to destroy and then create all that?
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Ooh. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release, dissipate and release. Woo. And everything that's really annoyed as I'm telling you this, freeze, type it down, freeze. And everything above that, freeze, type it down, freeze. And everything below that, freeze, type it down, freeze. Pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-encapsulate all. Pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-encapsulate all. And what is all the agendas around this? And what are all the stories around this? And everything attached to that, freeze, type it down, freeze. Pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-ID all. pre-encapsulate all. And where were we, the infinite being, and where were we, the infinite body, at their creation, assembly, modification, gilding, source. Pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-ID all, pre-encapsulate all. Pre-tag all, pre-scan all, pre-ID all, pre-encapsulate all. Woo. And what is everything we agreed we would do for them? And what is everything they agreed that we would do for us? Rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh, the authentic, inalienable prime creator, please remove all these beings, doings, gods, and others from all realities, all universes, and all dimensions, and do it now, please.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. Woo. And all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Do we choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh. Wow. Ooh. Wow. Ooh. And all the drugs, alcohol, chemicals, medicines, manipulated energies, dissipate and release, discharge, 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 and flush. Woo. Wow. And what's everything else we can clear around this? And just because we can, and we're in this space. And everything that is, do we choose just to go ahead and clear it just because we can?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that. Ooh, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Ooh. Wow. So how are people doing? Do people have any questions around this, or in their funky space?
Feeling lighter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of fogginess. So I was trying to see where that was coming from. So, all right. So let's do that one again. So all the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, disinformation, energy fog, body fog, manipulation fog, cloaking, and all manipulation around this. Do we choose to destroy and then create all that? Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whew. Yeah.
That's better.
Uh-huh. Yeah, still a little bit funky. So maybe we can do that. So everything, yeah. Okay, so everyone who's feeling a little tired, a little funky, I'm going to ask, it a little foggy, is that yours, someone else's, something else's? And so that something else, is it okay for us to remove all those something else's from your reality and your universe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freeze, type that down, freeze, freeze, type that down, freeze, and everything above that, freeze, type that down, freeze, and everything below that, freeze, type down, freeze. Pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-ID all, pre-encapsulate all. And where were we, the infinite beings, and where were we, the infinite bodies, at their creation, assembly, modification, gilding, source? Freeze, type that down, freeze, pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-ID all, pre-encapsulate all. And what are all their relatives? Freeze, type it down, freeze. And all their allies, freeze, type it down, freeze. And where were we, the infinite being, and where were the infinite body, at their creation, assembly, modification, gilding, source? Pre-scan all, pre-tag all, pre-ID all, pre-encapsulate all. The authentic, inalienable prime creator, please remove all these beings, doings, gods, and others, and do it now, please. Thank you. Banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Yeah. And so the thing is I've been playing with is, what if like almost all the reasons we're making ourselves wrong aren't even us? You know, and that's kind of what I was getting at in this first Claiming Your Power Now, the Max Power Hour. You know, it's like, you're already amazing. You know, there's nothing broken. There's nothing to fix. You know, there's a little bit extra weights, and then we're just kind of removing those off. And then the things we've been trying to change that weren't changing, how much of those were actually ours? Yeah, it's that small bit. And so no wonder we couldn't change those. So when we're trying to change things that don't change, is find the part that's not us, throw that out. And then we have the part that we can change. And then the other part, you know, is, you know, how many of the things that we've been making ourselves wrong for were actually symptoms of us being energetically attacked? Whoa, we got some more there. So everywhere you made yourself wrong for things that were actually just symptoms of you being energetically attacked. Do you choose to destroy and uncreate everywhere you made yourself wrong on that?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that. Rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate, make null and void, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo. Yeah, and what if by just playing with those 3 things, you can actually start to have a lot more of your power today? And anything preventing you from having more of your power today, do you choose to destroy and uncreate all that?
I do.
Whew. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate, and vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah. Woo. And any more questions? We got just a little bit more time before I finish this up. Okay. Well, I guess everybody, okay. And then the other part that I just kind of play with is we're all these amazing infinite beings. And sometimes after we've done a lot of really big clearings, we feel like we're kind of worn out or tired, or we require time to integrate. And I've been playing with what if all those feelings aren't even yours? And everything that brought up and let down, do you choose to destroy and create all that? Yeah, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Yeah, and so what if you as an infinite being, you actually just normally, instantly integrate all these things? And it's not to make yourself wrong if you feel tired or whatever. You know, after I do a bunch of clearings, I used to be tired and like, I'm worn out. I don't want to do any more clearings. And I've changed that. I've gotten to the place where if I feel really tired or need to integrate, that it's something else, that's something else that I can banish and vanquish. It's some other energies that are just like up and active in my world. And that doesn't mean that I'm done after a class or a clearing. Like after this, I'm like, I don't really want to clear anymore, but it's more like it's a choice. I just don't choose to do that. I choose to do something else, as opposed to, oh, I can't clear anymore. I can't do that. Yeah. So anything preventing what we went over today from instantly and easily integrating, do you choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Cool. I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Cool. So thanks everybody for being on the call today. If anything comes up, just send me an email, because we did a ton of some pretty big clearings today. And I'm going to be doing probably another one of these power hours next week. So I look forward to having you join me. And if you have any questions or things, let me know. I'll be sending out a replay a little bit later. So
Thanks, Max.
thanks everybody.
Thank you so much, Max.
Thank you, Max.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.